It's Andre Ferreri. Andre Ferreri Quintetto, the actual band. Numero Uno, the title track from his latest project, and it is one hot project, to say the least. I mean, I'm completely in love with it. I sat listening to it like 4 or 5 times last night while, doing some other stuff, housework, tittering around the house while listening to Andre. And it was really moving, to say the least. Andre, by the way, was born in New York. He now lives in the QC, also known as the Queen City, a.k.a. Charlotte, North Carolina. And you may not recognize him right off, but if you're a fan of jazz or you like singing karaoke, you probably have been listening to Andre and just didn't know it. Hey, Andre, how's it going, man? This is Andre Ferreri, by the way, folks, on the line. Hey, Andre, how you feeling today?
Hey, Carl, doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all, man. Let's get right to it. You're a major part of the music scene now, and in-demand artist whose bandmates, acoustic bassist Anna Stallman, pianist Mark Stallings, Philip Howell, and Sean Higgins make up the band Quintetto. Why did you choose the name Quintetto?
Don't forget Kobe Watkins.
Kobe,
local
yes.
They're in Durham, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Quintetto, I wanted to bring my Italian heritage into it. My wife Mary and I, we went to Italy. We were there in 2018 through 19, and there was the jazz there. I just was very influenced by what people were playing there. First of all, they were really into traditional jazz, and not so much fusion, more just traditional and a little bit of smooth, but mostly traditional. And so that really inspired me to start thinking about writing some songs with that style in mind. And that's basically this whole album. I tried to stay more traditional, less fusion, because a lot of my older albums were fusion, smooth jazz. And really my heart is in the traditional jazz, the greats like Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, and Kenny Burrell, all those great players.
These were your influences, I guess, early on.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, I had so many. I was fortunate enough to be able to hang out quite a bit with Hank Garland, who was, for many of these older generation players, he was their peer, and they really, everybody kind of takes a little bit from everybody. I mean, I can't say that everybody I hear influences my playing in one way or another, because you kind of grab the things that you like, and and it just gets incorporated into your own style.
With that said, with the greats that you've worked with, which ones you think probably gave you the most fun out of the show or working with them?
Well, the people that I've played with, and mostly has been bands that we do our own original music. So, early on in the 80s through the 90s, I played with a group called Flight 108, mostly around the Southeast. But we did 4 albums. They're actually still out there for sale, but we did 4 albums with that band, and we did all original stuff. So that's always been my thing. I've always enjoyed writing music as much as playing it. But being a studio musician, you wind up playing everybody else's music all the time, and especially, like you said, karaoke. When I was doing karaoke, it was a great way to learn how to get a perfect sound for something, but when it came time to be yourself, you couldn't really be yourself. So that's why I really enjoyed doing my own music and writing my own music after Flight 108 became Airstream, which was around for about 12 to 15 years, and still is around. We haven't really stopped playing, but that band was all original as well. So that's kind of...
I actually listened to an Airstream album about 3 months ago. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just popped up, and I was like, hey, let me check this out again. So you're saying you were a writer and all, and I did see that you went to Berklee School of Music, and that was only for a year, so I guess you already had a lot of talent before you got there.
Well, here's my thing about Berklee, and it's a great school, but I was not a very good reader when I went there. So I started out in all the beginner classes, even though there was a lot of great players. Like Emily Remler was in my class, and she was a beginner as well. But the thing was that I didn't make guitar my major. I made music composition and arranging my major for that year, and guitar was kind of my second major. So I did, of course, take guitar lessons while I was there, and I got to play all the time, which was great. 24 hours a day of just practicing and playing with other musicians. So that part of it was great. But I wanted to get out and play gigs, and I had some opportunities, so I left.
Like 300 or something like that?
Oh, you mean when I went on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing. We played we were on the road all the time. Yeah. I mean, they weren't the greatest gigs. I mean, we were playing country clubs, and sometimes we played shows. We played the Apollo in 1977, 78, somewhere there in an oldies show in Harlem. That was interesting. And then we also played with Jackson Browne down in Miami because when Jackson Browne put out "Stay" by Maurice Williams, he had us all come down there and come up on stage when he did it. So that was pretty cool.
Cool. Back to numero uno.
Yeah.
When you wrote when you were putting the project together, because you wrote all the songs, correct?
I wrote all the songs. Yes.
Where did you expect it to go? What were you hoping it would do?
Well, let me just tell you how it kind of came about, because during the quarantine for COVID, around May of, I think it was 2020. Yeah, I instead of sitting around the house all day, I went down to my studio, and I got up early every morning for about 2 weeks, and every morning I wrote a new song. So over a period of 2 weeks, I'd written like 13 or 14 songs, and that's what these are. And each song pretty much means something to me, but they were all created basically in a demo version over a period of 2 weeks during the COVID virus. So I came home every day, around lunchtime, and brought my wife a song to listen to, and she thought I was crazy. I was just whipping that. It just exploded. It was time for these songs to come out, and they did.
Excellent. Well, that's great. I'm happy. I'm sure most folks are. With that said, and the opportunity to get back out and perform and all, thinking back, which performance would you say sticks in your mind the most, good or bad?
Wow. That's, there's been a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. It's hard to say one. I really enjoyed the shows, where I get to play stuff that I haven't done before. And that even goes with playing with the symphony. Sometimes we've done, some pretty. I really enjoyed working with Victor Vanacore. He's out of California, and he does a show where he goes around and he was Michael Jackson's musical director for many years.
Yes.
During Thriller.
Yes.
And so he has these medleys that he does of all these different styles of music. One's a Latin show; it's just all Latin music. One is like the pop music, which from anywhere from the Beatles to Michael Jackson and more. And then some of them are more contemporary. Like he does one where he does Spain meets Birdland with the medley of the two songs, which is really cool.
That's got to be cool.
Yeah. So that was really memorable for me because it featured a lot of guitar on a lot of his stuff, which I, of course, being a guitar player, I like to be featured. But and then there's been gigs, just playing with one person here or a band here. There's been a lot. I've had some good like Pat Martino. I've gotten to hang out with him and play with him, and Joe Pass, and
are you
other people like that. So,
are you one of those guys who like to walk in and say, "I brought my instrument. Can I play?"
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, I do that all the time because I travel a lot, so I always look for where the music is, and I'll just show up with my guitar, and most of the time they're at the end of the gig, they're like, okay, that's cool. So
that's real cool. Well, man, I want to thank you so much for dropping by today. You out touring now?
No, I'm actually, things are really slow right now. And, I've been playing the steady thing at Petra's in Charlotte. And it's really a good thing because there's a lot of young musicians come and play. And it's every Monday night from 7:30 to 10. Okay. And anybody from Durham that wants to come and play and sit in with us, come to Charlotte, and we'll have you come up and play. But that's been doing really well. And then I've had some gigs up at Middle C Jazz, which is the premier jazz club in Charlotte. So actually, Blair's working on some things like that for me now. So
Cool.
hopefully we'll get some more stuff going here soon.
Indeed. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out there, and we definitely love the CD. Look forward to hearing some more of your work. We'll be talking to you in the future, Andre. Thank you so much today, man.
Thanks, Carl. Thank you a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are more than welcome, Doc. I'm going to leave him with one more. I understand this is like the cut. Everybody keeps telling me that what you got to play is Uptown Swing when I asked around.
Oh, yeah, Uptown Swing. Let me tell you, I wrote that for Bill Hanna, who was a big musical force here in Charlotte. I don't know if you remember him, but he passed away last December,
Yes.
and that was written for him. That's the kind of song that he would love to play on.
Cool. Well, here's Uptown Swing. Andre Ferreri, you have a beautiful day. We'll talk to you in the future.
Thank you. You too, man.